4, 3, 2, 1, go!
All right. So this is Crash Bandicoot Sane Trilogy. This is a PS4 game, and I am Jay Hobbs, as you might have heard. This is Spike Vegeta, and on the couch are two fantastic runners of this game and every game on this trilogy, Rico, KSB, and Roach, 788. So right off the bat, we're playing Crash 3 here, and in Crash 3, they have levels that are designed specifically for Coco. Now, Vicarious Visions, when they made this remake, they were pretty faithful for the most part, but they like to add a little bit of content. So the first thing they did was they made it so that you can play as Coco in pretty much any level. And picking her up at the beginning like that is going to actually save us a little bit of time when we have to play as Coco coming up later on. The first level I went into here is Under Pressure. You can actually do the levels in any order within each warp zone. Under Pressure is a water level that is... Spike can really talk about it best.
I am so bad at the water levels in this game, or we can just say the whole game. The technique you're going to be seeing Hobbs do right here is that you've got both this spin and he's also got these little flutter kicks that he's doing, where he's going to be alternating between the two of them to both go fast, but the flutter kicks actually give him a little bit more control as he goes. So he's constantly ending those spins a little bit early. Now, like you're going to see throughout this entire run, it's all about cycles. Pick up this car right here. It's a little bit faster, mainly just so he can blast through a couple of enemies and boxes along the way. He's going to hold it right about to here.
Yeah, and I just wanted to make this cycle, so I was able to make a few mistakes there early on. Now, I might lose a mask here. Didn't lose it. That was very close. I'm going to skip this watercraft after that because it's just slightly faster to do so. Now, my cycles are going to be a little off because I had some trouble getting out of there, but looks like the shark is going to play nice in this specific case. I need to grab this crystal. I want to try to keep this mask. I got to be wary of the last shark, and there we go. Done with the level. Now, we're going to be moving on to a platforming level after this. And we want to talk about it pretty early because basically there's some basic movement tech that anybody can kind of pick up, which is that when you slide and then spin over and over and over again, that's kind of your fastest form of movement. Sliding is really fast, and then spinning kind of cuts out the end of the animation. However, we're going to do something a little different on top of that.
A couple of months ago, a technique by Jay Hobbs right here was discovered, and he didn't name it himself. Other people called it Hobbs sliding because he discovered it. As it turns out, if you spin, slide, and then jump, if you get a very short hop and then snag the ground, you'll see it on display here, just the regular slide spinning speed.
Yeah, so this is the kind of normal speed.
However, if he slides, spins, and jumps, and then catches the ground, he can go a lot faster. Now, he dropped it right there almost instantly.
Takes a bit of warm-up, folks.
He's also picking up his second mask there. He wants to enter the next level with 2 masks to set up for some invincibility. So it all takes setups. He has to know not just where he wants to set up his optimal hop sliding. He has to also know, all right, if I drop it anywhere, where's the best place to back it up? What's the rest of the level layout coming up? He could have dropped a third mask right there, but it actually would have just wasted a few seconds. Having to watch the animation of going into invincibility mode. So that's how optimal we're trying to work out the routing in this game.
Yeah, so I'm dropping a lot of the hop slides here. Ideally, this level could go a lot faster, but I think it's about a 2-frame window to do it, and so coming in cold, definitely a hard technique to pull off, but we've got more opportunities coming up, so you'll see some really good hop slides later on.
There are so many ways that you can drop them. If you accidentally jump, it drops. If you let a single frame go by where you're not perfectly chained together your slides and your spins, you will drop it. There are certain surfaces and objects and enemies in the game that if you run into them or touch them in some weird way, then you are going to drop it. It's such an easy technique to lose. I did it for about an hour last night. I think the furthest I got was like 3 little slide spins. I was pretty proud of myself, I'm not gonna lie.
But yeah, it's definitely hard. It's a really hard technique.
Yeah, I'm glad you let me do it last night. So we've got going into Boneyard here. Fun fact, this is actually where Hobbs discovered slide spinning.
Yeah. Or hop sliding, yeah.
Or hop sliding, yeah.
This is our first dino level, and the theme of the dino level is that the dino chases you and you have to watch out for him. Now, on these logs, I'm going to try to get a few hop slides, because like Spike said, you need a raised surface in order to do it. And so here comes a hopefully lengthy one. Dropping him a little bit here. Getting the rhythm soon. The trick is that you can actually get around some of these lava pits with your slide spinning as long as you go on the extreme side of them. I'm going to pick up a triple mask here for a little bit of safety so I can go directly over the lava pits, but it's also not too slow at all.
So we got this log right here. Let's see if we can
that can happen.
Belly flop.
We didn't talk about it, but we're going to go ahead and donate we're going to actually donate each $5 for every accidental body slam.
He wants it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm going until I get it. Oh, man.
All right, we got one.
We're having a hard time. Somebody break my controller while I was gone?
My bad. I tried doing this last night.
All right, we'll get some longer ones in a bit. So I need a raised surface. That bonus platform would be nice, but it's a little too short. The height of the platforms is very important. I can try to have an object actually bonk me back to the ground, like this box, and it's a lot harder to chain off of those.
Hardest one is this triple box right here.
Yeah.
You can actually get the top box to like bonk you down to the ground a little faster and start one off of that. Again, it's getting creative and finding every possible surface. He's going to try to go back and start one right here. Yeah,
I'm having a lot of trouble hanging on to him.
Yeah, even the grass, that's meant to slow you down. That's why we try to cut through it right there. Still getting out of the level.
That's okay. We got some more levels coming up that we can show those
You'll
off
have a lot more opportunities, as it turns out.
Yeah. Now, the next level is our first Coco exclusive level. You have to play as Coco in this level, and it's making waves. The order in which we've done these levels has been because of the routing of the masks, because these masks allow you to do damage boosts and get that invulnerability. So as I enter this Coco exclusive level, I'm going to switch characters while entering the portal, which will skip an animation of Crash belly flopping and Coco taking his place. So that saves about 2 seconds every time you do it, which is why we pick up Coco at the beginning.
All right, so going up into here, once again, a Coco exclusive level here on the jet ski. Try not to get any motion sickness here.
Yeah. If you have trouble, if you get a little seasick, look at the horizon, because I'm going to be constantly swaying left and right throughout this level, because we found out from some time trial runners that it's about 0.3 seconds faster in this level, and it's useful in every jet ski level to swing back and forth like this, even though it looks pretty stupid. Don't ask me how it works, because I couldn't tell you.
This is all for 0.3 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Shouts to speedrunning.
All right, now we're going to take our first damage abuse on that boat instead of having to go around them. Our second one is a little more minimal, but it'll give us a straighter line on an upcoming crystal. You can do some scary dodges around these bombs as well, just to get straighter lines.
Oh, that one always scares me. All right.
So here we go,
Good
second
luck.
damage boost. Now these crystals have notoriously bad hitboxes. But that one worked out for me.
Everyone's like, why are you clapping? That is one of the 2 worst hitboxes in the entire game.
Yeah,
we have gone straight through it.
You can unfortunately phase right through it. So luckily didn't have to there. And I'm going to go for a little ramp boost here. I'm just going to hit the corner of the ramp without going completely off of it. Just gives me a tiny burst of speed, but it's only useful if the ramp's already in your way. So we don't really do them too often.
Now, again, I mentioned a little bit earlier, everything in this game is going to work off of some universal cycles. So if Hobbs makes any mistakes, like these bombs at the end, they'll be in a different spot. So he has to have that internal clock in his head of, all right, I made 1 or 2 seconds of mistakes. They're probably going to be in a little bit different position. How do I need to adjust accordingly to obviously not die and still go somewhat fast and catch the platforms or whatever?
Yeah. And upcoming, our next level is Orient Express. This is our first tiger level in the game, or Purr level. Purr is the name of the tiger. And these tiger levels notoriously are like really hard for getting on the boxes and stuff. But in addition, like a lot of people just kind of take it really slow. You just walk through the whole level. You're on the Great Wall of China, and you try to make sure that you avoid all the hazards. Now, there is a boost mechanic, and with that boost mechanic, I'm going to actually hold down the boost button throughout this entire level. But I'm going to be doing some really frame-saving tricks here and there.
Yeah, you're going to see for the most part, he's going to want to actually, in the original game, you actually want to jump as much as possible because it saved frames. Here instead, he wants to run on the ground as much as possible, unless he's cutting those corners. Woo!
Yeah.
He would have blown through the barrel, but that looked cool, right?
Now I'm really just trying to take the inside tracks of these turns and do scary jumps around hazards like that. And coming up to this jump that one always terrifies me because you can run into the wall up there and get squished.
Super scary jump right here. We're going to curve around this barrel and dodge the dragon just barely.
All right, and with that, this level is practically over already. I'm not going to go for this insane one at the end because it only saves about 1 or 2 frames. It's not worth it. You could easily die.
And reminder that Purr is adorable.
All right, get that nice little cuddle. All right, and with that, we have 5 crystals now. So the object of the game is get all 5 crystals in each warp and beat the boss for each one, eventually beating Dr. Cortex. Now, we've got all 5 crystals, so we're going to beat our first boss now. We're going to go into Tiny Tiger. Now, there's a pretty funny thing about Tiny Tiger. For the most part, the boss is like kind of an auto-scroller. You know, like you have to wait out his phases and then hit him 3 times, 3 different phases, like most of the bosses in this game. But there's a weird little kind of hidden gem that was in the original game. I'm going to let Spike take it while I start off the boss.
Yeah, so once again, he's going to be coming off here. He's going to just have to dodge some attacks, get in this first hit. Now, after each of the hits, he's going to make a bunch of lions come out of those gates on the back wall. You got to dodge them. Or you can just hold up against this top left corner, and you can dodge them all. What's great is the cheese.
Vicarious Visions knew about that spot in the original game and decided to leave it in, but make you pay for it by throwing some cheese at you. What they didn't realize, actually, is that cheese can cause Crash's character to slip. And if that happens and there's a lion next to you, you die.
My God, I want that to happen so bad.
We'll see.
Come on, cheese.
Last chance here.
Get him.
Happens to me probably 1 every 50 runs or so, and it hasn't happened in about 49 runs.
Oh, they're not throwing any cheese you. Oh, they're coming in strong here.
Okay, we're through it. So now the last thing I'm going to do is that every boss has a power-up associated with it, and I'm going to do this specific pattern of movement, so that way Tiny will die in this corner, which will allow the power-up to spawn right on top of me, saving just a minuscule amount of time. Thank you.
I just found out that that's called the supercharged body slam, as it turns out.
Yeah, we hopefully won't see it.
Ever again.
Or our wallets will cry.
Yeah. To note once again, if you guys want to play at home, every time Hobbs either dies or does a body slam, because they're real slow, I'll personally be donating $5 for each of those. If you want to play at home, get into any sort of denominations yourself, if it's $1, $10, whatever you want to do, go ahead and play. It'll be a lot of fun. Also, we want to note, we actually got an incentive for this run coming up. Afterwards, we're going to go from Crash 3 to Crash 1 on the Insane Trilogy and play Stormy Ascent, the DLC level. Incredibly difficult level. Going to have to get the gem in it.
Yeah, but we're going to have to get those donations in order to unlock that one. So with that, we're going into Midnight Run, which is casually the harder of the 2 Tiger levels, but due to some of those risky jumps I've added into Orient Express, it's really actually become a lot easier for me than the other one. Not to say I can't die, but the fact that there are so many hazards means that I can't cut as many corners as I would like to. So with that, I think I'm going to send it over for a couple of donations while we finish out this level.
Sure, here's a $15 donation to the Prevent Cancer Foundation from Hoodie VT, who says,
Hey.
So incredibly excited for my favorite speedrunner, J Hobbs' Crash 3 run today. And he also wishes that all your Hobbs slides may be perfect.
Well,
from here on out.
Thank you for the donation.
I also have a donation from Anonymous at $25 in their comment, a game developer from Vicarious Visions here.
Hey.
Thank you so much for playing our game. Good luck with your run.
thank you very much. I love your game.
Yeah.
All right, we got that cuddle again. In the original game, you could skip that cuddle. Somebody find cuddle skip. I know it's adorable.
No, dude, it's adorable. Leave it in.
I know, but I want it.
Builds character.
All right, well, we're moving into our first motorcycle level now, level 8, Hog Ride. And Hog Ride is actually, it's a pretty difficult level, not because the level itself is all that difficult, but because of the way that the motorcycle works with these boost pads that they added. So in the motorcycle levels, the idea is that they give you some boost pads that will give you a long boost of speed that you can actually keep up as long as you don't run off the road or go over a pit or a jump. You can keep that boost going as long as you want. Now, the problem with it is they give you that burst of speed at the sacrifice of handling. This is an intentional trade-off in order to, give you a reason to potentially drop your boost. But if I can do this correctly, I'm going to weave my way threading the needle between a cop car and an enemy racer. We're going to see how this goes. It's really, really difficult to do.
Whoa,
No,
almost.
almost. That was pretty close.
It's all right. I like the woos. We were excited. I liked it.
It was very, very close. It's really hard to go through that because, like I said, the handling is intentionally more difficult when you're boosting. So even though, I looked like I was going to make it for a second, I had to really quickly reapply hitting the right stick and didn't quite work. Just not losing too much time for it. So.
Yeah, he would have kept that boost pretty much all the way to that boost right there, staying a boost the whole time. Gonna slip around this cop car right at the end, and we are through our first motorcycle level.
Yep.
To note, you have to win the race, or otherwise you don't get the crystal.
All right, now I want to bring up something real quick before we get into some more platforming levels with hop sliding, and that's that I was asking someone about some information from previous GDQ donation totals and stuff, and I found out a really interesting thing. AGDQ has not beaten SGDQ in terms of number of donations during the first run in 4 years. SGDQ has had the record for 4 years. So I'm just saying, man, we got to step it up for AGDQ. We got to get that record back and get as many donations as we can during the first run. Because come on.
Heck yeah.
We got the bigger totals. Let's get the bigger start.
Yeah.
All right, so another hop sliding level. So I'm going to let Spike kind of talk while I go for this one. This one's even harder than the previous, but hopefully I can do a better job.
Yeah, once again, he's going to be finding these raised surfaces, utilizing these walls as much as he can. He also wants to make sure he picks up 2 masks, not just 1, in this level that are going to be very important for the next couple levels coming up. All right, so here we got a hop slide going right here. Oh,
yeah, the wall actually stopped me on that one for just a moment. Like Spike was saying earlier, some textures in the game can mess you up.
Utilizing this wall again.
And I'm having a hard time timing these.
It's also to note, like, Hobbs always brings up there are both kind of first objectives, but you've also got these, the first objective, just go fast through the level. He also has these secondary objectives going just over that pit, ladies and gentlemen, and still able to keep it going. This is what the magic of it looks like. Able to pick up his second mask, and
$5, let's go.
Truly the GOAT.
So because of hitting that goat, I'm actually going to have to change the level order as well. Another $5. I hope someone's keeping track.
All right, so I'm down $10 currently, and I would like to get home after this event. So
I
Hobbs,
think it's
if
more
you
than
could
that.
pick it up. Yo, shouts to that frog jumping directly into the nitro like
yeah,
a
that
bro.
frog can be a bro. It's great when he runs into the nitro. Ooh, almost hit another goat.
Another go, but it's all right.
All right, we got some better hop slides that time. Much better level.
All right, yeah.
And that's the kind of funny thing about that technique, because it's so difficult, it's turned these ridiculously easy levels. I'm sorry, the medieval levels are the easiest ones in the game for the most part. Pretty intentionally, they're supposed to be you just get to move on and have fun kind of levels. But it's turned them into the hardest levels for me for the most part. So I could have gone to Hang 'em High, level 7 next, if I had had 2 masks. But instead, we're going to change the route up and we're going to go to Tomb Time, because in Tomb Time, I lose less time than I would in Hang 'em High by only having 1 mask. Because as we mentioned, invulnerability is pretty good in this game.
Now, we do have another platforming stage right here. It's one of the few in the early part of the game where we can't really use hop sliding. There's going to be one of use at the very end of the level, just because there aren't a lot of raised surfaces that he can start them on. Here for the oil, instead of him going into the side spins, you're going to see him actually go slide, neutral, slide, drop into neutral over and over again, saving himself that little bit of time, because it's really the slide that saves you time and not so much the spin. The spin is just something while you're waiting for the cooldown from the slide. Dodge these poop throwing
All right, now
monkeys.
we're coming up to a door cycle. I can't beat this door cycle without a triple mask, so we're going to have to wait on it. These cycles are global from the beginning of the level, so just going to jump now. And now we got a really scary jump coming up. Hopefully I don't beef it. I think Roach was actually the first one that I saw do this. And here we go. Oh,
Boosh.
very close.
Utilizing a piece of speed tech in this game called the glitched high jump. We'll get into that a lot more here in a couple of levels. But basically just allowing you to get a much higher jump than intended.
I don't know how that happened, but $5.
You just want to cost me money. That's all it is right now.
Of course, it's all for a good cause.
I mean, to a certain extent, and then I can't get home. Anyways, so hop sliding's cool. Right here at the very end. Can you get,
Almost got that one. It saves like a half a second.
Yeah.
It's like the only surface almost in that level where it really works.
But the good news, he was able to recover really well off of not going in with 2 masks. The 2 masks is much more important in this next level. It's from the monkey bars, if you want to go ahead and explain that, Hobbs.
Yeah, so the next level, Hang 'em High, is our first Arabian-style level, and they like to put these hanging sections where you got to climb on some bars and like move across them, and they're pretty slow. But the invulnerability, the triple mask, actually gives us a faster, just normal walking speed. It's not faster than slide spinning, so you don't normally see it. But on monkey bars, where you can't slide spin, it's really fast. So I am hopefully going to do that, as well as showing off a little skip there.
All right, so coming up here, we'll get past a couple boxes, 1 enemy, and then we're going right into our 3rd box, and watch how he flies.
A lot faster. Going to cut some corners as well. And then we're going to be moving in. If I do this correctly, I can actually get past a set of destructible boxes in this next hanging section. We'll see. My movements have been pretty good.
Again, trying to slide as far as he can to get as much distance as possible.
I got one of them. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Got to spin this guy away, though, because we really need these 2 masks for the next level. Dropping down there just to skip out a bit of the hanging. A little scary, but that's a pretty new one, found by the current world record holder, Deep Freaks. And now we've got a sword enemy coming up. I'm going to have to wait on him because of the way that this level has gone. If I'm incredibly fast, I can drop in front of him, then jump over him. Doesn't really change the time too much for the level, but there we go. We're moving out.
Nice.
And that is the last level in Warp 2. Now, things have been a little slow so far, I understand, but they're going to pick up in the next Warp. And we're also going to have a blazingly fast boss, the fastest boss in the run, I think. Yeah, definitely. With Dingo Dial here. Now, Spike talked about those glitch high jumps, right? What that is when, in the original game, if you did a slide jump and you spun like right after doing the jump, then you would actually go a little bit higher. Now, the developers actually saw speedruns of the original games when they were making this remake, and they said, we're going to leave that in. Now, on top of that, they left in how you beat the boss in the original game, which is do this.
Cool.
Instead of waiting on Dingo Dial to shoot down the crystals, which is the intended way, I'm instead just going to jump all the way over him. I have to put a little delay on here because his hitbox isn't active right away. Ooh. Didn't delay enough.
Ooh, all right, and held on to his masks.
I also want to reset my position back to where I loaded into the level because that'll let me know where the ending portal is going to be. I think I did a pretty good job of getting back where I started, but we'll find out here in a moment. So there we go. Boss is dead, and now we're going to pick up our next power-up, which is double jump.
Yeah, and unlike the super awesome enhanced body slam of doom or whatever the last one was
All right, so the portal
called.
should be here? Yeah, right about here. It's good.
Yeah.
Didn't lose any time. All right, now we get into Warp 3. This is where the difficulty starts to ramp up. Every warp from here on out gets harder than the last for the most part, and it's very, very hard pretty early on. We've got our last bit of hob sliding coming up soon in this Warp 2, because soon we're going to get an upgrade that's going to take it away from us.
Yeah, we got 2 levels left that are really going to utilize it, starting here with Dynamite. He would have potentially had to switch around the routing if he lost either of his masks before the end of that last warp. And so he's going to bring him in here because he really wants the invincibility. Once again, like the last dinosaur level, there's going to be a lot of lava pits, and to go over them with that, you can just have better lines and whatnot.
Yeah, so I'm going to pick up this triple mask, and then once I come up to the first log, I'm going to pick up a hob slide that hopefully will not end until another log. And at that point, I'm going to pretty much just let Spike talk so I can focus on it.
Yeah, once he comes up here on this log, he has got 1 shot at this, ladies and gentlemen. Otherwise, he will not make it.
Yeah, lost the hob slide. So I'm going to run out of invulnerability before the last lava pit. So I'm going to have to take it a little slow on the upcoming enemies. These are the band of fishes. They are the worst enemies in the game. And, okay, we made it through. I found this, actually, while I've been here. I found a little backup one there that will let me save some time here. All right, I had that one going for a little bit, and we're almost up to the next log, so we can get another one started.
Yeah, needing that raised surface. Have another log here. Carried that one all the way to log. Very nice.
All right, I'm going to try to get one off this triple stack. Nah, the triple stack boxes are incredibly difficult. I do not almost ever get them, but I always go for them if need be. So having a hard time with the hob sliding today. It really sucks when you're bad at your own speed tech, right?
Literally named after him.
That's one of the great things about the current world record holder, Deep Freaks, is he is a lot better at hob sliding than me. So if you want to see some really awesome hob slides, check him out.
Now, it is important, once again, he's getting chased. He wants to go ahead and go through this water, which is just a natural mechanic in the game that's going to give him a little boost going forward. Going to try one more off this hill, and he wants to try to not lose either of these masks once again, because we'll be going into the next level. We're going to utilize them for damage boosts. Coming up here on the very end of the level, there we go. Right. Very nice.
There we go. We're through. So it's really great that I kept both those masks, because coming up, we've got Deep Trouble, which is the second and final underwater level. And this used to be the hardest level of the run by far, and it hasn't gotten any easier. I just made other levels harder. So it's still really difficult. I'm going to be going for a lot of cycles, basically, that if I slow down even the slightest bit, and if I go too fast and run into an enemy or something a little earlier than expected, then I'm going to lose all my masks very quickly, and I'm going to have to waste time at the very end of the level. So I'm going to do my best. We have a little bit of leeway at the beginning here, but then the magic really starts after this first tunnel.
Yeah, the big gimmick you're going to see in this level is that there are going to be these air vents that they might not look harmful. They will hurt you. If you get there, they're sort of a little inaccurate in their hitbox. They start a little bit before they start spinning.
All right, so here we go. We wait, and now the fun begins.
Again, he's got these two masks. He wants to utilize both of them for damage boosts. Just getting past this shark, utilizing the bottom, is able to beat the first two set of air vents right there, putting on a slight delay before the second one. Again, cycles. Has to go very fast to beat these. Get through the shark. He's able to beat that one there, get the crystal. He's got his first damage boost coming up.
Ideally, we can skip it, and I did.
Okay.
So that's good.
That means he went.
But I did lose a mask on that enemy.
Okay, gonna cut right here.
I got through that vent, though. That's a very tricky one to get through. Movement has to be super clean for that. And now, luckily, that gives me one mask and this this actual watercraft here to damage boost with. So I can go around here, and I can damage boost right through the end.
That was very nice, actually.
So that gets a lot scarier if you take a hit in any of the earlier cycles, because suddenly once you miss one, you're pretty much going to miss all the rest of them, and you're out of masks, and then you have to slow down a lot at the end, and it gets really, really bad very fast. But I did intentionally lose my masks at the end of that, because the next level I'm going into is another motorcycle level. We didn't really touch on it before, but the motorcycle levels actually take away your masks because you can't use them in the level. You actually can't die in the levels, but what can happen is that for the motorcycle levels, in order to get the crystal, you have to take first place. And this is the hardest level to take first place in. If I fall in a pit even once, things are going to get very tight very quickly. The enemy racers in all of these levels are based on, they do the same movement every time, regardless of what your movement is. So from the beginning, the moment the race starts, I know what path they're going to take. But if I hit any of them in the back, it's going to lurch them forward and it's going to slow me down, which will change where all of the racers will be later on. This is the hardest guy to get past, so we're going to see if I can do it. Oh. Nah, it's a really difficult turn to get on the inside of that racer.
He's got a real big butt.
Now because of that, all of the racers are in a slightly different location than what I'm used to. And that, unfortunately, makes this upcoming S-bend a little more difficult. So I have to be careful not to actually run into any more, or things will even just compound on themselves and get even worse. All right, coming into this S-bend, again, this guy is a pain once you've gotten hit once. Yeah, and I tried to run into the side of him intentionally there, but he unfortunately knocked me back a little too far. He might hit me again, knocking me in this pit. Yep, this is going to be hard to win now, but we're going to do our best. That happens a lot of the time if I have a mistake earlier on. If I lose this race, it's like a 2-minute time loss. This is definitely not something that we want to happen.
He's going to have to extend each of these boosts.
Intentionally slowing down there, by the way, to get around this S-bend.
We can still barely see the first place racer up ahead. He's still got a shot. He's going to curve around this cop to the right. Do not run to this cop. Running into cops completely stops you, obviously.
All right, now it's going to be up to these last two racers on whether I can get around them or not. And this guy's looking okay. All right, we got around one of them. Now, hopefully I can skip this boost pad to give me a better, straighter line. Wasn't able to do it, but maybe this guy can be nice. Don't hit me, don't hit me.
Hey, buddy. Oh, we got one pit left.
All right, bud.
One pit. Oh, see you, nerd.
All right. Like I said, you fall in a pit, that gets scary.
Just like we drew it up in the practice room.
Right. Perfectly to script.
So that was fun.
Yeah, all right, but we're going into the next level now, and the next level is level 15, or double header. And we're back to platforming levels. We got 2 more in this warp, only one of which has hob sliding in it, and that's level 15. I haven't had a perfect hob sliding level yet. Let's try to make it happen on this one, I think.
The last one, yeah.
Like Spike was saying, though, there are primary and secondary objectives for every platforming level. At least that's the way I like to think about it. Primary objective, always go fast. Secondary objective is picking up a certain number of masks. So in this level, there's a mask box right there at the beginning. I have to pick that up and not lose it through the entire level. And this is the most treacherous medieval level. Okay, there actually is a spot on the ground there that actually stopped me that time.
Killed it.
And that guy's going to be in a weird part of his cycle. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do my normal setup, so we're going to have to go around. But that's not even the long one, so we still got a chance to get a really good hop slide coming up. Having some trouble here. Go for a little backup here.
Again, he has to have a lot of knowledge of just the entire level layout to know, all right, if I drop this at any point, what is the best place to then move to set it back up?
We're going for it again.
Thank you.
We're going for it again.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we're moving on.
God, oh.
There's another backup over here I can go. It's a little better.
See you, Gandalf.
Yeah, just unfortunately losing it a lot of the time from my own timing here.
Gonna have to
All right,
drop
that was
it
better.
here to get over this. Yo, the goat. It truly was the goat. Stayed out of the way.
Ooh, that frog. Again, I don't want to lose this mask. All
Watch
right,
out
so
for the turkey legs. All right.
I'd take it safe on those guys. All right, and with that, hob sliding is done because in the next level, high time, there's unfortunately just no surfaces where it really helps that much, on top of there being pits everywhere. So the fact that it takes, even just a second to set up a hob slide won't be helpful if you can only get one slide out of it. But there is some really cool movement in high time, because high time is, again, like every level pretty much, based on these global cycles that begin from the moment the level loads. Even before I have control, those cycles are moving. And there are 2 carpets at the beginning of this level that I really want to make on an early cycle. Super precise movement and some really interesting climbing utilizing double jump.
Yeah, really cool vertical movement here. Again, utilizing double jump, as he said, that we got from Dingo Dial back there, finally being put on display. So you don't have to wait on nearly as many of these cycles.
That's going to make it really hard to make the early cycle now, but we'll try.
Gonna have to put on. That makes that one a little less scary, at least. Again, because of that one mistake, he now has to make adjustments for the entire level. Oh my lanta.
I didn't want to lose that mask, but it's not the end of the world. That's why I didn't want to lose the mask, though.
$5 cheaper, ladies and gentlemen.
Those enemies are really difficult. I probably shouldn't have gone for it, but the scorpion hitboxes, if you're trying to go for a spin while sliding back up here, sometimes they just won't register your spin, unfortunately, because there's not enough space before you hit the monkey bars. All right, so now we're gonna have to wait on this carpet until we can get this crystal, but as soon as I do, I'm gonna jump off. Dying there seems pretty bad, but it's actually not quite as bad because I would have had to wait on some fire for missing the early cycle anyways.
And you're seeing a lovely combination of not just the glitched high jump, but also the double jump we got earlier in the game. Once again, having to make adjustments off of the mistakes earlier in the level.
Now that I've died, I kind of have to play it, I have to improv the rest of the level because all the enemy cycles are off from what I know. You don't practice the levels for dying, but sometimes it happens. All right, there we go.
We got this.
Little safe at the end there because I really, really didn't want to lose that mask. That mask is probably one of the most crucial masks in the entire run, and that's because of the upcoming boss, Dr. Entropy. Now, this is the 3rd boss of the game, and he gives you the 3rd power-up that makes hob sliding not work anymore. We'll get into that in a second. But this boss is really cool. He kind of... He shoots some clocks at you, he shoots some lasers, then he changes the terrain around. But if I do everything right, you won't see a single laser.
What I want you guys to understand is that when you take damage in this game, it actually gives you this like auto bounce mechanic
If you
where
have
you
a
boost
mask.
up. If you have a mask. Otherwise, it just kills you. But we're going to utilize that right here. We're going to try to do no waiting in this level basically whatsoever. He's first going to utilize that glitched high jump and double jump to get the first hit, move back to this 3rd tier of the platforms. If he gets any closer than that, the game will actually auto-kill him. He needs to wait here until the iframes of the boss runs out, get his 2nd hit. Now he's going to set up over here. He's going to slide out. There's going to be a first missile. He's going to jump over, auto-bounce off the 2nd one, and get the 3rd hit, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm really glad that went well because that's the coolest boss strat in the run. And now that gives us Death Tornado Spin. What Death Tornado Spin is it lets you get a longer spin that will slow your descent when you're up in the air. So you can use it to get over long pits, for example, or to get over enemies very slowly. Now, what they didn't realize or maybe they did realize as they were developing it, but there's a really cool technique that we like to call mock tornadoes. I'm going to give you a little tease right here, but we can use these to almost get hob slides, except a little different. We'll get into that in a little bit, though, because Tell No Tales is first. Now, this I like to call this the gauntlet because the next 4 levels are all very difficult, and the worst part about them is your masks matter for every single one of them, so you can't even take 1 damage. Each of these levels only has 1 mask in them as well, so we need to if we ever take a single damage, it's going to compound on itself. Now, this is a much longer level. Again, if you get a little seasickness or anything, take a look at the horizon.
Like how we're having to give health tips here on GDQ now. You start to get a little motion sickness.
So this level, I save a lot more time for doing this swinging back and forth. I'm going to be picking up a mask pretty soon, and then on top of that, I need to just kind of keep track of all the cycles. But you've seen this a little before, so I'm going to go ahead and leave this up for a few donations until we get near the end of this level.
Here's a $20 donation from Wooden Barrel, who says, "Let's
Hey.
go Hobbs. Best of luck, my man.
Thank you,
Let's
Barrel.
get that Stormy Ascent."
Yes.
And a reminder, we do have a donation incentive open right now if you want to see more Crash immediately after this. J-Hobbs will play Stormy Ascent. We're a bit over halfway to meeting that, so get your donations in toward that.
Oh, we got to
right
get
now.
that because that is Rico behind me. That's Rico's favorite level in all of Crash. And the great thing about it, too, is that it was the level that was so hard that it was removed from the original game. I'm not kidding. They added
As hard
it as
as
DLC
Crash
for this one.
1 is.
The other scary
got
thing
removed.
about this level to note, and I'll get it back for donations in a little bit here, is that I can't hit a single checkpoint if I want to save the maximum amount of time. So if I do take a death, if I get hit a couple times here, I'm going back to the beginning of the level, and this is one of the longest levels in the run.
Timed it. It is 2 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, so
Yeah.
we do not want that.
Now, the worst part is coming up right here. This crystal hitbox is the worst in the game, in my opinion, and we didn't phase through the crystal, so we got pretty lucky. Again, can't hit that checkpoint because it's going to take away my inside track there on the turn. Now, the rest of it is a little bit simpler. I'm just going to try not to slow down as much as possible. Take it away for about 2 more donations.
All right, Blitz Phoenix with $7.77 says, "Greetings, AGDQ. This is my first time donating because I never had a chance to do it up until now. This marathon is always incredibly supportive and loves to help everyone in need. This donation will go to Hobbs doing Stormy Ascent, which I consider still the hardest Crash 1 level. Good luck on the run, Hobbs, and shoutouts to Spike, Vegeta, Roach, and Rico on the couch."
Yeah.
Also, Vowir with $25 says, "It brings me pride to finally donate for GDQ after all these years. It brought me joy. Donation goes to the Stormy Ascent incentive. Good luck, J-Hobbs."
Thank you very much. And remember, we're coming up to the end of the run pretty soon, so let's get those incentives in. All right, but let's talk about mock tornadoes. I like this speed tech even more than the one I found. This was found
It's
before.
so satisfying looking. It's so good.
It was found actually before it, but the thing about it is it's kind of similar to hop sliding that involves sliding, spinning, and jumping, but you can do it on flat ground at the expense of not being able to chain it infinitely. What that means, though, is that I can route in mock tornadoes in very specific places in all of these levels.
Yeah, normally it's something that when you learn it, you do it just really off of a raised surface so that it catches your foot earlier. However, Death Tornadoes spin this technique. I mean, you saw kind of the more intended usage for it there. Coming up here, actually, let's just go ahead and switch to this. He's going to try to, from that door cycle, try to make this next door cycle. That's how he's going to know if it's good or not. Coming up here.
Yeah, this hard door cycle to make if I hadn't been faster at the whole level, but I got it. Gonna do a few more mock tornadoes here. I have to dodge a very close spike.
When those are fully raised, you can feel safe to go through them.
Now,
Watch out
this
as
is the
thing drops
tricky
down.
part.
Very scary. Slide into a double jump, into a Death Tornado spin. We're not waiting on these auto-scrolling platforms at all. What's up, Fire Shooter Guy? Thank you for staying out of the way.
And there we go. I made that cycle as well. I'm going to have to cut this mock tornado short. That is where triple mask would have saved me 1 second from being able to plow through that TNT. But that was a great level.
That was really good, actually.
The thing I love about mock tornadoes is they still feel very difficult. They feel great to pull off, but they are way more consistent than hop sliding. Yeah. And like I said, I can route them through the levels knowing that as long as I'm playing well, I'm going to get them. And so I can build cycles around that. That's pretty exemplary in this next level, which is Tomb Waiter. Also, real quick, you might be wondering, why are we still playing as Coco? Like I said, you could play as Coco or Crash in any of the platforming levels for the most part, and even though Coco can give you a little bad animation that costs a little bit of time, we have a little pact among the speedrunners for Crash 3 where we say no abandoning Coco.
So here we got the gimmick of this level. This water is going to raise up and down throughout it. If he ever is too deep in the water as it's raised up like this, he will die. It does not matter if he has masks or not. So he has to know about when it's going to run out so he can time his Death Tornado spins and his slides to get through the area. Now, like in other gimmicks for other levels, he had to slow down there just a little bit. He's going to get his triple mask here, and that actually keeps the water lowered the whole time. So he's going to try to get through as much real estate as possible while this water is lowered down, making this a little bit easier. Barrel through this enemy and these nitro boxes. We don't care.
So I didn't get a mock tornado there, which is going to make this a little sketchy now. There's a really bad hitbox there. If you're going to fix anything about Vicarious Visions, please fix that.
It will just randomly drown you right there.
Yeah, so that's why I took it a little safe. Now I'm racing to the end for a cycle that I want to try to get, where I'm going to jump on a very risky piston. I think I'm a little late, so I'm probably not going to be able to do it, but we'll find out pretty soon. Now this is a very tricky one. I got to stall up in midair. Otherwise, I will drown. Now, I fell down pretty good. I think I'm a little too late, so we're not going to make this cycle. Yeah, that's the cycle I wanted to jump on, but I'm still going to do it. I just had to wait once.
Woo! All right, there we go.
Now, the other thing you might have noticed is I was using those stairs. I was always standing kind of on the second from the top step, so that way, as soon as I jumped, I was at the perfect height for that mock tornado, that, you know, that kind of like top to catch.
Sure.
Now, it's also imperative that I kept both masks there because level 19 has some invulnerability strats. Oh, I should probably hit the button. Has some invulnerability strats that are incredibly fast. If I lose the invulnerability here, all of my cycles change and things just become a lot harder. Now, this is, in my opinion, the hardest level of the run because I'm an idiot. Spike, tell him why.
Yeah, so this is possibly the tightest cycle in the entire run. He's going to get right up here, wait in front of this laser, and then go right as it runs out and start catching on the very edges of these platforms, running on the green platforms so that they push him forward a little bit and trying to stay off the blue as much as possible. Constantly sliding right around these.
I messed up the last mock tornado, so I was trying to go for that, to beat that last cycle, but luckily I didn't die. You would not understand how many times I died trying to do that, skipping around the lasers. So this is a little better. My cycles will be slightly off now, but on top of that, I at least have my triple mask.
He's got his mask coming up here very soon. That's going to allow him to do a lot more mock tornadoes, to just blast through all of these enemies and all these objects in front of him. And you see another raised surface, able to catch it right there. Good setups. Again, triple mask allowing us to start even off of enemies.
Oh, a little slow there, so I'm probably going to get hit here. Oh, that hasn't happened before. Hey, we already got one.
Hey!
Now, the lucky thing is that I actually didn't need those masks after this level. I was going to use them for damage boosts anyways, so not too big of a deal that I lost the mask. Really, we're only losing time from the death time loss.
Yeah, he could have used it to start up a mock tornado off an upcoming bee-like enemy, but that's not going to be too big of a deal, just a little bit of a time loss. Under, and we got our crystal. Coming up on the last section of the level right here, right after this elevator. And that's the bee that we would have utilized in order to start a mock tornado, but still able to get a little one right there. Those little vents. Hey, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, so the cycles are different once you die, and so I had to react to that one accordingly.
All right.
All right, not too bad. I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting a death in that level. Yeah. I was expecting it earlier, not from something that had never happened before, but
we're
I'm
in
okay
a GDQ, so it is what it is.
Right.
All right, so nice gauntlet. Now we get to go into, thankfully, the easiest level in the run.
This is my break. It's great. After those 4 incredibly difficult levels, we have our first plane level, and not every plane level is easy. This one is. This one's pretty easy. The only real kind of speed tech to talk about in this level is that when I shoot these bullets, they act as projectiles that have a travel time. So I kind of need to try to keep an idea of exactly how long I need to shoot before the blimp will die, and then turn away so that it dies as I'm already turning. With that, there's nothing else to really say about this level, so let's get some more donations.
How's Stormy Ascent doing? Yeah.
Oh, we're doing pretty well. We are closing and we're tantalizingly close to
Oh,
making
come on. Make it happen, guys.
Now, let me read donations and kick it off with KB41 has a generous $1,000 donation.
Woo!
KB41 says, Crash 3 is my favorite of the series and a staple of my childhood. The Insane remake was a blast, and it is a great way to kick off AGDQ 2018. Best of luck to J-Hobbs and the rest of this week's runners.
Thank you.
Also, Ziona gave us $50 and said, hey, J-Hubs, good luck on those hob slides. Here's some money to reach that goal of getting the most donations on the first run. Greetings from Sweden.
Yeah, what's up, Ziona? All right, so now we're heading into Engine, our 4th boss. And, oh, I got a little bad animation there, lost me a bit of time. Not a big deal. We love Coco anyways.
Never abandoned.
So we're coming into Engine. This is the kind of big RNG or randomness point of the run where I might lose some time completely out of my control, but I am going to try to control it as best I can. Unlike the other bosses where they all take 3 hits, this boss has 2 phases.
Yeah, he's going to have to. There's 5 different weak spots on this first phase. And while he can't completely control what the shoulder packs do, he's going to prioritize getting rid of the middle piece and then starting to shoot the shoulder packs. He knows about here, this is when the first machine gun's going to come up. These cycles are very slow to come back up, so he wants to go ahead and kill them in one cycle if he can. Took a few extra hits there. He does need to be careful not to die, obviously, in this fight. Otherwise, starting it over. You can also aim them to get rid of the shoulder packs and the machine guns at the same time. Again, taking a little bit of extra damage here.
Yeah, the damage I'm not too worried about. I got some pretty bad luck there, but not too bad overall.
All right, immediately knowing that this left arm, from his perspective, is going to open up, so he wants to one-cycle it as well, go back down to the middle piece. He's not going to worry about the right arm, wait until the next cycle on it. Now he's just going to take out the shoulder packs as they open up. It will prioritize, obviously, opening up other packs once you've been destroying the others. Once the camera pans right here, he knows to now focus on the right arm. One cycling it, very nice. And now he just needs to clean up the shoulder packs on top. Yeah, a lot of RNG here, just how they'll open up. 1 to go. See.
Okay, not too bad.
All right. Yeah, pretty good reaction to all that stuff.
That's going to give us the fruit bazooka. That's going to give us the fruit bazooka. And now the bazooka, if you ever played this game casually, the original version or this version, you might remember, okay, the bazooka locks you into place and you need to aim it very slowly. So, I mean, that's really bad for a speed run, right? Yeah. I might have worked something in. We have a little bit of a way to actually speed that up, and I will talk about that more when we get to it, but I just want you to keep an eye out for it.
Mock tornadoes just as a technique is so interesting because there's so many ways to implement it. You don't just need a raised surface. You can do it on flat ground like you're seeing in different instances all over.
Yeah, and into Warp 5. This is our last warp. Remember, folks, get that Stormy Ascent incentive met. You don't want to miss this really hard level. I'm probably going to fail it miserably. It'll be great. All right, this is our last motorcycle level, our 3rd and final, and this is probably the most difficult to save all of the time on because there are not 1 but 2 different boosts that are very hard to carry. I'm going to let Spike talk about it as I go for him.
Yeah, so he's going to be trying to carry this all the way around to this bend, trying to avoid, obviously, the enemies and this cop car on the left. He's going to try to avoid this barrier right here. That's the big part that's hard. It would have just carried him to right here, so not a big time loss for that one.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It unfortunately meant that my angle was going to be bad, so I had to brake around that turn. Now, the risky thing about not getting a perfect boost off of these is that, again, these enemies change, like their paths are set. But since I'm slower, they're going to be in different locations than what I'm used to. The cops, as well, will be in different locations, so I have to react on the fly now to where they're going to be. Luckily, I'm getting pretty close to first already. Have to damage through that barrier, and now hopefully this guy will be nice. All right, we got around him.
This cop will also be nice. Stay right on the right side, able to carry it. Ladies and gentlemen, should carry it all the way to here. Very nice job with that.
Okay, that was a good one. Watch out for this cop.
What's up, buddy?
If he had knocked me to the side, like if I even tap his bumper, he will shoot me over to the right. We got another little risky one here. It's going to depend on where the cop is and my position on the boost, which was unfortunately bad on both fronts. So there's no way I was going to be able to carry that boost because of that cop position. So now hopefully I can keep this one all the way to the end. I'm going to skip past the first set of cops here. Okay.
You can go just a little bit off the road.
Yeah, you pretty much have until around when it turns into gravel. And there we go. Pretty good level.
Yeah.
And we will be running Stormy Ascent after this.
We did it. Awesome, guys. Thank you. Don't forget, keep them coming.
Yeah.
Keep them coming because there are a bunch of amazing incentives throughout this entire week. I'm really excited for a lot of them. My runner's choice, for anyone who's curious, is actually the Wilhelm Frog incentive in Ori and the Blind Forest because it's fast, but it's cool.
You'll love it. So here we're going into our final vehicle level and also our final plane level as an extension. It's going to be switching over to Coco here. Do you have a particular reason why you switched to her?
Yeah, I just kind of like her plane model a little better in terms of just being able to aim with. And on top of that, we need to use Coco in the next level for reasons that we'll get into. So it's convenient to switch now. Now with this plane level, rather, it's a lot more difficult than the previous one because I have a specific route in mind that I want to take. And in order to execute on that route, I have to be very, very fast. I have to actually take out each engine separately when it comes to these planes, instead of just being able to aim, anywhere on the plane's hitbox. So far so good, but if I'm too slow, then my route won't work because one of the planes will turn away from me and cost me a lot of time. I'm a little slower on this guy, but so far so good. We can avoid getting hit by him there too, which is nice. Also spinning around, Spike likes to talk about why.
Yeah, dude, do a barrel roll. As it turns out, you don't take damage while in barrel roll.
Shoutouts to Star Fox 64.
That's one of like 3 Nintendo games you played.
All right, there we go.
There we go.
And again, because those are projectiles, I had to actually lead my shots, which makes the aiming a lot trickier than it first seems. And so I like to think of, levels like that. They're not, they're not auto-scrollers or anything. They just take a different skill set than the platforming levels. Mm-hmm. But now we're going back into the platforming levels. And the first one that we're going to do is Bug Light. Last 3 levels here, folks. Bug Light we're going to do first because we can actually get 2 masks in it for the later levels. Now, the unique thing about Bug Light and why we're going to stay on Coco for it is that there's actually going to be an intentional damage boost coming up because we have a mask to spare. There are 4 masks in this level. And during that damage boost, if I'm on the ground and I'm Crash, I will have this long animation. It's really awful. But if I'm Coco, she doesn't have that animation, so I get to save a lot more time.
This is the level you go to first if you want to learn how to mock Tornado off of those raised surfaces, these hills right at the start. So you're going to see he's going to constantly get one and then set up for the next one. Now here we got that door cycle coming up. He's going to be picking up the mask. This is what he's going to utilize for it. And like all the other Egyptian levels, barely dodging those darts out of the wall.
And these doors open as I get near them, but they also shut. There's my bazooka jump in order to clear out those boxes. That's my one use of the bazooka, and it will never leave the run. I will not let it happen. But now I have no mask, so I have to wait on this door. Again, these aren't on global cycles like all the others. They actually close when you get near them. But now that I have triple mask, there's a couple of doors coming up. And we didn't really talk about it before, but if I have this invulnerability and I'm near these doors, they stay open. So if I'm very fast, I can actually get through the last door here.
Right here.
All right, excellent.
All right, that was very good movement to get all the way through there.
We used to think that was impossible. Now I gotta wait on one more because these 2 masks are really important to keep for the next level, Gone Tomorrow. We're gonna do a few more scary mock tornadoes here, so very high risk of dying or getting hit.
Couple of enemies right here. Ooh, barely. Okay, that was a little sketch. Now we got all these nitro boxes. Very nice. Sweet. Very nice Bug Light.
My PB died there.
Hey.
Maybe an old PB. I don't know.
They all kind of run together.
So moving into the next level, that'll be Gone Tomorrow. There's only 2 levels left other than the boss. And Gone Tomorrow is the second and final future level. And like Future Frenzy, the other one, it's pretty difficult and there's a lot of intentional invulnerability and damage boosts in it. So I'm gonna start off with that invulnerability more or less right at the beginning because there are these big robots Spike can kind of talk about.
Yeah, they're big and they take up the entire platform. So if you didn't have triple mask, he'd have to try to jump out and curve around them or just, if you're going casual, slow down and let them do their attacks. However, if you can get up to this triple mask coming up, then Coco, this little girl, is more powerful than the machine.
Ooh, almost fell in the pit there, actually.
Again, does not want to lose to any death. Will obviously take his masks away. And he's got a lot scarier and a lot harder with all these mock tornadoes he's been trying to fit in off these sides of the railing. So not bad. Kept it. Was able to keep his triple mask all the way there.
Now I landed in the center of that platform because then the platform will move instantly instead of taking a second. But that comes at the risk of this camera moving out of focus. So I actually have to do a tiny bit of blind movement there. Not a big deal at all, but I like pointing it out because I think it's fun. Now, again, cycles that I need to make sure that I'm on time for. I'm gonna do a cool little damage boost here, and using that auto bounce mechanic, it'll start up my mock tornado for me. Now, fun little strat here. Lot of bounces.
That is the first time he's had that all week, ladies and gentlemen.
That mask, not ideal. Oh. Huh, all right. Ordinarily, that enemy would actually hit the B, so I was intentionally trying to run into it, but not too big of a deal because that checkpoint was right there.
Yeah, he ideally would have liked to have held onto that mask, one, for this very last section right here, just these couple of conveyor belts and these lasers. We'll see what the cycles are going to look like now that he took the death.
Yeah, I'll have to react to what they show me, and it looks like I might make it, so we're going for it.
See ya.
Okay, made it through those. Now I got to go for a risky...
Okay. Very nice.
All right. Coming into the last level, another platforming level, and this is our final Arabian-style level. And like the previous ones, not as much flat ground, you know, so not as much room for mock tornadoes, but a lot of really interesting climbing techniques that we can pull in these levels. And like always, it's based on cycles, so got to do my best to move through the level as perfect as I can from the get-go, or everything will change. If I do this properly, I will never stop throughout this entire level. I will never wait on anything. So we'll try to make that happen.
He's first going to try to just clear over this enemy completely, not come anywhere near him. Catch a tight carpet cycle right there, getting over the flames.
Ooh, okay.
Had to react there.
My slide didn't quite come out, so now we got to take this a little slower.
You can see with that double jump into the Death Tornado spin, able to completely skip over some platforms. Fun fact about the carpets, if you go up and through them, a lot of times they will eat your inputs. Very sexy climb right here. Let's see if he's able to get it.
Yes.
Very nice.
It's really easy to bonk into a platform with your head, so very difficult one there. Oh,
all right.
Man. See ya.
Yeah. Oh, he is so tall.
All right, we're going to go for one little mock tornado here.
And see these carpets and that trampoline? We're not going to need any of them. And we're out of the final platform level again. Really good reactionary skills right there by Jay Hobbs.
All right, and we're coming into the final boss. Now, I will let you know about time, but immediately after time, hold your applause because I like the cutscene after, and it's pretty cool. So coming into this boss, like Engine, there's actually some RNG in this boss fight. Again, randomness within the run that we have really no control over. And what that is similar to all of the other bosses except Engine. We got to hit him 3 times, and he has a few different phases. However, he will throw some mines at the ends of these phases, and where they are horizontally is not random, but where they are vertically is and can make the biggest difference in the world. Before that, though, in this specific boss fight, we are going to do the hardest movement tech in the game, the strut. I'm telling you, it's hard. Look at this.
He is not joking, ladies and gentlemen.
I can't even do it. If you got to move it 2 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Strut your stuff, Crash. All right, so now here's the random part.
Yeah,
where he throws these vertically is completely out of my control, and he gave me a bad pattern, so I have to wait for him to come way over here. I ideally want to hit him on the left side. Then I knock him in the pit, and I like to have some fun, do a few mock tornadoes. You know, just kind of fool around. What's up, Roach? Do a Roach slam there.
A little bit of good swag.
All right, so that first cycle, as you saw, the masks kind of did a little laser thing. Now they're a vortex. It was a lot faster in the original game, and they opted to make it significantly slower in this one. But the vortex always moves in a set pattern, so not really afraid of it until this point where he's throwing the mines. This is where, if I get a bad pattern again, I could potentially have problems with the vortex. And he gave me a better pattern. I do have to wait on these mines, though, because the hitboxes are a lot larger than they look. Spin. There we go. All right, we got the last hit coming up, and time will be soon after that, but not quite when I hit him. So I will let you know, and remember, hold your applause because we got a cool little cutscene to listen for after that. I'm not doing it. I found out while here that you can actually strut away from these guys, but it's the hardest movement tech in the game, I'm not lying. Try it yourself at home, you'll see what I mean. Oh boy. Not a good pattern. Yeah, so you give me
Cortex was a little mean today.
not a great pattern all 3 times. All right, he's gonna spit the power up into a random location. There it is. And get ready on time when I get sucked in the portal here. Time. All right, hold on.
All right.
Best line.
Defeated again. This is not fair. Maybe I should retire to a nice big beach with a nice big drink and a woman with nice big bags of ice for my head.
I love that line. I'm sorry, it's silly, but I love it. What was my time?
Was 59-13.